Welcome back. Let's meet some of the men behind Budget 2021, and we're joined by Expenditure Secretary TV Somanathan and also the Secretary of DIPAM, Mr. Tuhin Kant Pandey. Now, DIPAM, as we know, is the Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, which relates to disinvestment or privatization of government assets. Thank you both so much for joining us. Mr. Somanathan, let me just start by asking you about the same point I was also raising with Amitabh Kant earlier, that the government is saying, the finance minister is saying, that we are spending. But if you look at the increase in capital expenditure, which is what the government actually spends on new projects, roads, highways, all of that, that is only going up by 1 lakh crore. I mean, it's 35% up from last time, but that's still not a lot of money, is it? To be able to claim that we've enhanced spending by so much.
So there are two kinds of spending that we've been doing, and in terms of the progression from this year's revised estimates to next year's budget estimates, the incremental capital spending relative to this year is 1.4 lakh crores. In absolute terms, it constitutes about 60% of the differential between the budget estimates of this year and the budget estimates of next year. So, in a sense, 60% of the increment is actually going to capital. Some of the rest of it, which is not capital, is going into a much enhanced healthcare provision, particularly in terms of both the COVID vaccine. There's a trebling of the provision for drinking water and sanitation, which is not classified in the capital section because it goes as grants in aid to states, though they spend it as capital expenditure.
Oh, I see.
So
okay.
actually there is a substantial capital push. In relative terms, it's a 35% increase, but you see, government budgeting is always a matter of increments, and it is the largest single increase in infrastructure expenditure, at least in the last 20 years that we've been able to check.
Right.
So it is substantial. I agree with you that in absolute terms, it is not, what one would desire, but then one has to also work within the available financial constraint. But it's a very substantial increase.
Okay.
I would still hold that it's a very substantial increase.
Okay. But of course, you will also have to raise some of the money for this increase, and that's where I wanted to come to Mr. Tuhin Kant Pandey, because the government, again in this budget, has made much of disinvestment in terms of increasing how much you are going to be able to sell, and also about monetizing government assets. But again, if you look at the numbers from last time, Mr. Pandey, and I'm sure you're aware of this, that if you look at the disinvestment target, the privatization target last time, it was about 2.1 lakh crore in the previous budget, but the revised target was only 32,000 crores. So,
well, I think coming to the last year, I would say that, the COVID had a deep impact on disinvestment process, especially the strategic disinvestment where the management control is passed and where the investors have to have several due diligence measures which could not have been taken under the COVID conditions.
right.
So I think those transactions which were actually opened could not be completed, and I think they'll be carried forward and they'll go into the achievement of this year, the 21-22 that Honorable Finance Minister announced, and she also named specific transactions that will be closed as well. The second is that disinvestment, the new policy which is to be seen in the context of what it does as a reforms. Because this is a directional shift from the public sector business which was carried on. Even despite the reforms, several public sector businesses have carried on. And I think for the first time the government is very stating clearly that only bare minimum presence will be retained in some of the strategic sectors. 4 broad strategic sectors have been done, have been named based on the national security, energy security, critical infrastructure, and provision of financial services.
Yes.
And the non-strategic sectors can be, then privatized. Even within the strategic sector, you keep only the bare minimum. And that process will actually be completed over a period of time, not in one single year.
Sure.
But the directional shift is important because what underlying beneath is that the belief that in the private hands, there will be a greater productivity, efficiency, and growth, which will lead to employment.
That's
growth
fair
and
enough.
Employment are the key issues in this budget.
No, that's fair enough, sir. And I understand that under the pandemic, it may have been difficult to actually sell government assets, but overall, the privatization targets of this government have not been great, even pre-pandemic. So what gives us so much faith that this time around things will be any different?
Well, we hope that the kind of work which has been done by preparing a pipeline of the transactions which can be accomplished during the year, we are hopeful of achieving it this time.
Okay. Just coming back to you, Mr. Somanathan, again wanted to just question you a little bit on what you were talking about the big increase in health spending. Now, 137% jump, 94,000 crore to about 2.2 lakh crore. But isn't that also somewhat to do with clever accounting? Because as you were yourself saying, it seems to have clubbed a whole lot of other heads into health, which includes drinking water, sanitation, vaccine spending, all of that. And that's why that number is actually inflated. What is the actual increase in just the spending on health from last year compared to this year?
No, first, let me clarify one thing. The World Health Organization specifies that what they call the WASH agenda, which is water, sanitation and hygiene, is critical as part of the preventive health budgets of countries, and this you can look up in the WHO.
Sure.
So we have, so the accounting that we've done is not creative, it is holistic is what I would argue, because actually in a typical year when we don't have COVID, more people in India suffer from diarrhea, malaria, dengue and child mortality from diseases that are related to poor hygiene and sanitation. So they're actually very directly connected to health. Now coming back to your specific question on the numbers. So the specific area of health itself is seeing a very substantial increase, and I'll read out the numbers to you.
Okay.
I'll just give you the numbers in a second.
Yes, yes, please.
Here are the... So the Department of Health and Family Welfare, the budget is going up. It's going up from 65,000 crores in 2021 to a total of 1,06,269, of which 35,000 crores is for the vaccine. So that's a substantial increase of more than 50%. For health research, it goes up from 2,100 to 2,663, which is 25%. For the Department of Ayush, it goes from 2,122 to 2,970, which is 40%. So this is without adding drinking water, sanitation, etc. So it is a substantial increase, regardless of which way you look at it.
Okay. Okay, I have very little time, I'm told. So I understand what you're saying about just the health budget, just the Department of Health and Family Welfare budget increasing from about 65,000 crores to about 1 lakh crores. But as you said, that includes the vaccine component. The vaccine component itself, we were told by the finance minister, was in the range of 35,000 crores. So it's really, in some ways, the additional 35,000 crores, is it not, which has pushed up the figure to 1 lakh crores?
Correct, but we've also announced a new Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, which accounts for which is going to provide a long-term increase in health service infrastructure, which will begin to pick up from the next year onwards. So it is not, this is not a transitional, there is a big provision for vaccination this year, which is the need of the hour, but it transits into more long-term spending as we go along.
Oh, I see, okay. So the Atmanirbhar program is the one which is, I think, was set aside something like 65,000 or 60,000 odd crores over the next 5 to 6 years.
Over a period of 5 years, which is...
In the period of 5 years, okay. And that's going to then, okay, so that brings in another 10,000 crores every year. Just last question to you, Mr. Pandey, about the, coming back to the privatization of the assets. Is there a rough timeline? Because the finance minister did name a couple of assets. She talked about Air India. She talked about, I believe, Engineers India and similar firms, PSUs. What kind of realistic timeline do you think by which you will be able to privatize?
I'm sorry, it was not Engineers India Limited. She said BEML Limited and the Shipping Corporation of India.
I see.
And
Sorry.
Air India.
Yes.
And BPCL.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I
And
beg your
Neelachal
pardon.
Ispat. I mean,
Okay.
and Pawan Hans.
Right.
Yeah.
On the timeline.
These will be accomplished during the year.
Oh,
these will be, you know, these were stated to be accomplished during the year, including the IDBI Bank.
I see. This will all be done in the course of this year itself.
That's right.
Okay. Well, we shall see if that indeed does happen. We'll certainly keep a track of that. But thank you, gentlemen, both so much for joining us on NDTV. Thank you very much indeed.